Hi, my name is Les Puryear, and I stuttered for the first 35 years of my life until I found a way to stop stuttering. Stay tuned until the end of this video, and I'll tell you about some devices and some apps for your phone that might help you. I know what it's like to be laughed at and for other people to feel embarrassed for you when you stutter and other people who want to finish the sentences for you. I know about that. I stuttered on many words, but the consonants were the worst for me. The P's and the K's and the T's and the B's, those were the hardest for me. I went to several speech therapists, but they didn't help me. I'm sure they were really good speech therapists, and there were a lot of good ones around, but it just didn't work for me. And I read books and magazine articles about stuttering and about what might cause it and about some doctor who had the latest cure. But this was in the 60s, and we had no internet and no YouTube. One time I went to a seminar where a doctor was teaching his method of breathing out when you say a word. For example, he would have us talk like this. Hi, hi. My name is Les Puryear. Needless to say, didn't work. It's kind of silly. I don't know about you, but I was afraid to speak because somebody might discover that I stutter. It's amazing how many people thought I was mentally challenged or just stupid because I couldn't talk right. What most people don't know is that people who stutter are very smart, typically. We exercise our brain much more stringently than those who don't stutter. You see, when I was speaking, I was thinking about what words I was going to say next, and I was looking for another word in order to substitute for a word that's coming up in order to say it and not stutter. That takes a lot of brain power. So how did I stop stuttering? Well, in the early 80s, I was watching a show called and a man named Herb Goldberg introduced something called the Edinburgh Masker on this show. When the masker is worn, a buzzing sound is heard when the person talks, and he can't hear his own voice. For many people, if you can't hear your own voice, you don't stutter. Herb Goldberg lived in Chicago, and I lived in North Carolina. And I made the trip to go to Chicago to get this device, and he fitted me with my Edinburgh Masker. Is the Edinburgh Masker. This is what I got from Herb Goldberg in the early 80s. So this is the part that generates the sound. There is a button on the side, and you see here it says when it's down it's off, and when it's up it's on. So when it's on, then what that means is that whenever you speak into your microphone, which is attached to your throat, whenever you speak into that microphone, then the sound is going to come up these wires and into these ear molds, and then that's where your sound is coming from. And that sound will block out the sound of your voice. So all you hear is just a buzzing sound. And so whenever you speak with that buzzing sound and you can't hear yourself, then you don't stutter. So this unit is early 80s and maybe 40 years old or so, if my math is right. So obviously it doesn't work anymore, but this is the thing that helped me to stop stuttering. You see, back then I had long hair. I don't have any hair anymore, but I had long hair, and I could run the wires up under my shirt and put the ear molds behind my head, and my hair would cover the ear molds. And so you wouldn't see the device. The masker worked well for me. After I had worn it for about a year, I took it off. and I found that I didn't stutter anymore at all. After wearing the masker, I became a preacher, and I preached to crowds of up to 5,000 people without stuttering. The masker was real popular in the 80s, but later on it was replaced by a device that had an echo effect. Before I go any farther, let me explain to you the two auditory feedback methods that help people to not stutter. One method is called masking auditory feedback, or MAF. This is the method that the Edinburgh Masker used. Masking auditory feedback masks or blocks the ability to hear one's own speech, but maskers are not readily available today. The second method is called delayed auditory feedback, or DAF. This is an echoed effect where one's voice is echoed while speaking, which helps reduce stuttering. The delayed auditory feedback method devices have dominated the market since the 1990s. There are several DAF devices available today. The most popular one is called Speech Easy. There are several videos on YouTube about this device. In addition to Speech Easy, I'll put some information about some other DAF devices in the description. In addition to devices, there are also some iPhone apps available for DAFs. I don't know about Android. You'll have to check yourself on those. There's one called Phonate app. This is one that a speech pathologist uses, and she has a video on it on YouTube. I'll put a link to that video in the description. Two additional apps are called the Speech Jammer and the DAF Pro. I recently retired after 25 years of public speaking as a preacher, and a speech device helped me to stop stuttering. I hope this video has been helpful to you. I know what it's like to stutter, and perhaps one of these devices or apps can help you. I certainly hope so. You have a good day.